Hello students, before we start our chapter, I would like to request you all to watch our introductory 2 videos given by me so that you will be clear about the 3-step strategy to do Dhamaka in physics exams. We have given the videos in the description box, or you can just click on our videos displayed at the end of this video for either introductory 2 videos or the next videos. Okay then, let's enjoy physics by Mr. Patel, who has a long, profound experience of 29 years of teaching physics in Sainik School, Balachadi.
By conduction or contact. A conductor can be charged by bringing it in contact with another charged conductor as shown in the figure. They consider a conductor B mounted on an insulator stand as shown in the figure. Initially B is neutral. A is deficient in. Now bring a charged conductor, positively charged conductor A near B and touch it. A is deficient in electron, it is positively charged, so naturally it is deficient in electron. Therefore, free electrons from B will flow to A to make up the loss deficiency when A is touched to B. So this one A is deficient in electrons, so electrons will flow from free electron from conductor B to a conductor A. Due to the loss of electron in B, the B becomes positively charged. Remove the A. Correct? Now here care should be taken that the conductor A should be provided the insulator or insulating handle. If insulating handle is not used, then whatever charge on the conductor A will flow through your body into the earth. That is, electrons from the earth will come to your body and it neutralize. Correct? Earth is at zero potential. So if positively charged conductor is connected with the earth, the electron will come from the earth and neutralize it. If negatively charged conductor is connected with the earth, electron will flow into the earth. So with negative potential, earth potential is 0, that is positive. Similarly, you can charge a conductor negatively by touching a negatively charged conductor A with a neutral conductor B, as shown in the figure. Correct? Here, the difference is there only, the electron will flow from A to B. But by contact, we can charge the body with the same charge. If inducing charge, this is inducing charge and this is induced charge. This body is inducing in the conductor A is inducing in the charge in the conductor B. So B charge in the B is induced charge, INDUCED, whereas charge on A is inducing charge. So body can be charged with the same charge by contact, unlike in the case of the induction. Induction, it can be charged oppositely. By contact, it can be charged with the same charge. Now what about the insulator, like paper or other object, insulating object? This we have talked about the conductors. We have talked about the conductor. When electrified rod is brought near object, a similar effect takes place. The rod induces opposite charge on the near surface and similar charge move to the further side of the object. This happens even light object is not a conductor, that is insulator. Some materials have practically no free electrons, like paper. Paper is an example. The electrons, now consider this experiment. Take a piece of paper, initially it is neutral. Now bring a charged ruler, plastic ruler near it. It attracts, it is found to be attracts. This is general observation. You must have observed, if you comb your dry hair and bring near small tiny pieces of paper, it is found to be attract. Why? Why it attracts? There is no free electrons in paper. What is the reason? Reason is that they are still, the free electrons of paper atoms are not free to move in the body of the paper, but they are still free to orient themselves. They can orient in the atom. Thus, centers of two types of charges are slightly separated. the positive part of each atom will be close to the ruler, and again a net result is an attraction. Net charge on the paper is 0. So according to the Coulomb's law, if one of the bodies has 0 charge, the force of attraction or repulsion on it must be 0. Then why it happens? Because induced charge, displacement takes place. Now see, when the negatively charged plastic ruler is brought near the paper, piece of paper, having no free electrons, but this atom has no free electrons. But in atom, displacement of center of positive charges and center of negative charge of the atom takes place. So they are slightly displaced. So positive charge and that is attracted towards the negatively charged ruler. That is it, and it is nearer. So positive and negative charge of the ruler that will attract. So attraction is found due to this reason. So net charge on the paper is 0. So according to Coulomb's law, if one of the bodies has 0 charge, the force of attractive or repulsive force on it must be 0. Suppose this plastic ruler has Q1 charge, paper has Q2 charge, Q2 is 0. So F is equal to K Q1 Q2, but Q2 is 0, so all terms will become 0. How then the piece of paper or any other insulating object is attracted towards the charge? Answer is as I explained above. Correct? What is the reason? Within each atom, charge separation occurs. The center of two types of charges are slightly separated. The positive part of each atom will be close to the ruler, and again in result is an attraction. That is the reason. Now let us see the questions. How can you charge a metal sphere positively without touching? We already studied about the induction. Without touching, that is induction. We can charge a metal sphere positively by induction. Consider a metal sphere A mounted on the insulating stand. Bring a ebonite rod, rub with the cat's fur, it will acquire negative charge. So when we bring the ebonite rod B, which is negatively charged, near the metal sphere without touching, it will, this is ebonite rod has charge negative, that is inducing charge. And these are induced charges. Charges on the A are called induced charge. It induces in A. So as this is negatively charged, it will induce positive charge on the near end of the A. How it creates? Because it will repel electrons. It will repel electrons from the metal sphere A is end which is nearer to it. So the near end of the metal sphere A will become deficient in electrons as the electrons move to the further. So this, the left side portion of the A will be charged positively and right side portion of the A will be charged negatively. Now this is a positive charge of the A which are on the left side, they are attracted. So they are bound. We call them bound charges. And these are free charges. These are free charges. If we touch without removing ebonite rod the metal sphere on the right hand side, the free charges will go into the earth through your body. Or you can make earthing also. You can make earthing. If you make the earthing or momentarily touch, the electron will go into the earth. So electrons will go into the earth. Remove the earthing and remove the ebonite rod. The charge will spread uniformly on the sphere A. It will be distributed uniformly then after, because there is no longer interaction between the negative charge of the ebonite rod and the positive charges on the left side of a metal sphere A. You can do this by using two spheres also. Instead of one sphere, you can use two spheres also. as it is given in your book. Another sphere, you keep it touching. Third sphere, say C. This ebonite rod will induce positive charge on the left side of A and negative charge on the right side of the conductor C. Now, separate the spheres slightly without removing the ebonite rod. A and C. This is positively charged, negatively charged. Now keep more apart the spheres A and C. Remove the ebonite rod, so charge will be distributed evenly on this. The C is positively charged. If you don't want to charge the C, then you make the earthing and then remove the C without removing the ebonite rod. That is also a process. Now remove the ebonite rod, A will be charged positively and charge will be evenly distributed over the this. Instead of that, you can use the plate also. You can use the plate also. And if you take the plate, the negative charge will come on the plate instead of this. So there are various ways you have to remove. There are two induced charge, negative and positive. You have to remove one. Now if you want to charge this metal sphere negatively, you will have to take the glass rod, opposite, because it induces opposite charge on the near end. So if you want to charge, you take the glass rod or negatively the sphere. Same process you can repeat by using the positively charged glass rod after it is being rubbed with the silk cloth. This is the say. So we will not change the symbol. Say this is A sphere. So it will induce negative charge on the left side of the A and positive charge will be on the right side. Why happens? Because this is positively charged, it will attract electron from the atoms. So electron will be attracted and will be accumulated towards the left side. Now if you make the earthing, or you can use another one, plate also you can use. If you keep touching this plate also. So instead of positive charge here, positive charge will be on the metallic plate C. Then touch the C or make it earthing. The positive charge, this is bound charge, it won't flow even if you touch or make earthing. Even if you touch here, it won't flow. So if you make earthing with the C, the charge on the C which is positive and it is free charge, this is free, this is bound charge, will go into the earth, electron from the earth will come and neutralize it. Alright. Or you can remove it. Then after you remove this plate, you can touch also. Anyway, you have to remove the positive charge. Correct. Now remove the glass rod. The A rod is charged negatively. So if you want to induce or charge a conductor negatively, you will have to use the positively charged glass rod in order to induce it. And if you want to induce positive charge, you will have to take a negatively charged body, that is like a ebonite rod. Next question, if 10⁹ electrons move out of a body to another body every second, how much time is required to get a charge 1 coulomb on the other body? Say one body is A, which gives out the electron 10⁹ electrons per second to the body B. So B acquires 10⁹ electrons per second. How much time will take to acquire 1 coulomb charge by the body B? That is our question. Charge given out in 1 second from the body A is equal to 10⁹ into electronic charge. What is charge of electron? 1.6 into 10⁻⁻⁹ coulomb. Minus, we will not consider minus sign here. temperature. That is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 10 coulomb. The time required to accumulate 1 coulomb charge is equal to 1 coulomb upon 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 10 second. That is equal to 6.25 into 10 raised to 9 second. This much time is required to accumulate that 1 coulomb charge on the body B, that is in second. We can convert or express this in years also. Divide by the seconds of a year. How many seconds of a year? 365 multiplied by 24 multiplied by 60 multiplied by 60. These are the seconds. So divide by. So 6.25 into 10 raised to 9 divided by this number, that gives out or comes out 198 years. This is a quite long period. So you can imagine how large is the 1 coulomb charge. Now number 3. Suppose the mass of 1 cup of water is 250 grams. How many protons and electrons will be there in 250 grams water? To calculate the electrons and proton number, we will have to calculate the number of molecules. Each molecule of water contains 10 electrons, 2 of hydrogen and 8 of oxygen. So we will have to calculate the number of molecules in 250 grams. We know that molecular mass of water is 2 plus 16, that is 18. And according to Avogadro law, mass of 1 mole of water is 18. Mass of 1 mole of water is 18 gram, and that contains, that is called the 1 mole, or number of molecules of water in 1 mole water is equal, 1 mole of water is equal to 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. So in 18 grams, number of molecules of water are equal to the Avogadro number. So in 18 gram of water, number of molecules is 6.02302 into 10 raised to 23. Therefore, in 250 grams of water, number of molecules is 250 divided by 18 multiplied by 6.02 multiplied by 10 raised to power 23. So each molecule of water contains 10 proton and 10 electrons. So multiply this number with the 10. It will give out the number of protons or electrons. Therefore, number of proton or electron in 250 grams water is equal to 250 upon 18 into 6.02 into 10 raised to power 23 multiplied by 10. Correct? That I leave it to you to calculate. Correct? This is the number of proton or electron in 250 grams of water. Now, charge of a proton or electron plus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Therefore, positive charge is equal to 250 upon 18 multiplied by 6.02 into 10 raised to 24 coulomb. Similarly, charge of electron or negative charge, we can say, total negative charge in 250 gram H2O is equal to 250 upon 18 into 6.02 0.02 multiplied by 10 raised to 24 minus, as electron charge is equal to minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Proton into 1.6, sorry, make the correction, 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The total positive charge is this much and total negative charge is this many coulombs. Now question 4. Two uncharged metal spheres A and B are supported on insulating stand and placed in contact as shown in the figure. Negatively charged ebonite rod is placed near A but not in contact, not touching it, that is. Describe what happens. A. The sphere B is momentarily touched with the finger or earthen. Now what will happen? When negatively charged ebonite rod is brought near A and B, the left side of the A will become positively charged. It will repel electrons, and the right side of the B will be charged negatively. Now the sphere B is momentarily touched with the finger. If you touch, the electrons will flow from your body to the earth, or you may do earthing. Correct? Now if you remove the earthing, momentary touch and remove, what will happen? The left side of the A, sphere A, will be charged positively and right side of the sphere B will be charged negatively. Now ebonite rod is made to touch the sphere A. Ebonite rod is made to touch the sphere. Now this has become uncharged. Earthing is removed. So charge, negative charge, this is actually free charge, has flown into the earth. Now positive charge will be distributed equally on both the metal spheres will be charged positively. Now if ebonite rod is made to touch, what will happen? Ebonite rod is made to touch the sphere A. Can you say what would happen? The charges on A and B remains unchanged because ebonite is an insulator. Negative charges won't flow from ebonite to A or B. Otherwise it will neutralize, but it won't happen. Charge remains same. It won't change. Barabar? Remains unchanged. Charges remains unchanged. Now next, 1.4. Explain meaning of the statement electric charge of a body is quantized. The charge on a body is a multiple integer of some fundamental charge E. The charge on a body is plus or minus E, plus or minus 2E, or plus or minus 3, etc., as we have discussed already. Now another one, next one. Why can one ignore quantization of electric charge when dealing with macroscopic, that is large scale charge? The fundamental charge, that is fundamental unit of charge E, which is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, is very small, because at the macroscopic level, that is by studying of current, electricity and magnetism, we deal with the charges of few microcoulomb. At this scale, the fact that charge of a body can increase or decrease in the unit of E is not visible. So the grainy that is quantum nature of the charge, quantum grain in nature, packet nature of the charge is lost, and it appears to be a continuous. So we use a continuous, that is number. Next, a polythene piece rubbed with wool is found to have a negative charge of 3 into 10 raised to power minus 7 coulomb. Estimate the number of electrons transferred from which to which. We know the charge of an electron is, what is the charge of electron? 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, correct? So Q is equal to Ne. Therefore, N is equal to number of electron is equal to Q by E. Q is 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb upon 1 electronic charge 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19, correct? That is equal to roughly equal to 2 into power 10 raised to 12 electrons. Let Q be the charge on the polythene piece. N is the number of electrons transferred from wool to the polythene piece. E is the electronic charge. Electronic charge E is equal to 10 raised to, we know already, E is the electronic charge 1.6 into minus, it is minus, into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The total charge is Q, then Q is equal to number of electrons into electronic charge. So number of electrons transferred from wool to the polythene piece is equal to Q by E, electronic charge. That is equal to 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 upon 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. That is equal, roughly equal to 2 into 10 raised to power 12 electrons. Correct? Is there a transfer of mass from wool to polythene? Which body, from which body to which body? That is, electron will transfer from wool to polythene piece. So polythene piece will lose the electrons and become positively charged. Wool will lose the electrons and becomes positively charged, and polythene piece will gain the electrons and hence become the negatively charged. Is there any transfer of mass? Yes, but negligible. As electron has mass, negligible mass, the mass of electron, say Me is the mass of electron, okay, that is equal to 9.1 into 10 raised to minus power minus 31 kg. This we can measure from the Thomson's experiment. J.J. Thomson measured the E by M of electron. J.J. Thomson measures, J.J. Thomson measure E by M of electron, and Millikan measure the charge E. If we take the ratio, that E upon E by M, that is equal to M. How it was measured? This way the mass of an electron was measured. It was found to be 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 coulomb. Millikan was awarded a Nobel Prize for his measuring the charge of an electron. Therefore, mass transfer, that is 18. kg. Negligible. Next question. It is now believed that the proton and the neutron are themselves built out of more elements units called quarks. A proton and a neutron consist of 3 quarks each. Proton consists of 3 quarks and neutron also consists of 3 quarks. 2 types of quarks, the so-called up quarks represented by U of charge 2 by 3 electron charge E, तो up quarks or U quarks have charge 2 by 3, and the down quark, that is represented by D, of charge minus 1 by 3e. Together with electrons built of ordinary matter, quarks of other types have also been found which arise to different unusual varieties of matter. Suggest a possible quark composition of proton and neutron. Suggest how many quarks will constitute a proton and how many quarks will make a neutron. The up quarks have charge plus 2 by 3e, and down D quarks have charge minus 1 by 3. Thus composition of proton must be 2 up charges, 2 up quarks and 1 down quarks. 2 up quarks have charge 2 by 3e multiplied by 2, that is 4 by 3e. 1 down quark has charge minus 1 by 3, that is equal to plus e, that is the charge of a proton. The proton consists of 2 up quarks and 1 down quarks. Similarly, composition of proton is 2 down quarks plus 1 up quark. 2 down quarks, 1 down quark has minus 1 by 3 charge e, therefore 2d quarks will have double, that is minus 2 by 3e, plus 1 up quark has charge 2 by 3e, net is 0. Therefore, neutron consists of 2 down quarks and 1